Hey everyone, Dan here with the Designer Show on with John and my very humble and good friend Peter Brown. You're going to find out just how humble he is here in a little bit. He's a neat guy. So we're going to get started.
I agree.
Yeah, so we're going to get started here in just a minute. Let's get the commercial out of the way to start out. So those of you that have been part of my Chief Experts Academy, I thank you and appreciate that. And what I would like to do, though, is talk to you a little bit about what we've got coming up here. So over at Chief Experts Academy, when you log in over there, if I can find my browser, here it is. So Chief Experts Academy is, if I could spell. So this is where we host all of our Chief Architect training sessions, and we would love to have you take a look at it. Oh, cool. We got 23 on. And what we've got going on right now is the Mastering Chief Architect course. This is a course that I put together for X6. So that's 6 years ago. And the way I did that, which was kind of interesting, is I took all of my training classes that I've done from the years previous to that, which was quite a few. And with every class that I ever do, I always index every video, every topic within the class, and then I time code it. So I took that list. It was like 80 pages. And I condensed that down into a series of classes. I took it all and organized. It took me days to do that. But anyway, it ended up being the Mastering Chief Architect course. And it was really cool. It went well. So I'm redoing that for X12, 13 when it comes out, we'll switch to that. There's not enough difference in the program to really make it matter either way, other than we'll talk about some of the new features when the new version comes out. So it's a 15-part class, and that class is we just started Wednesday, 2 days ago, Wednesday. And that, I'm looking for something else right now. Give me 1 second. And in that class, let me get here. So in that class, I'm really prepared, really well here. So we made it through half of the first class. So I'm going to be continuing that first class on Tuesday. And so within each class, I like to do these slideshows. So one of the things that's kind of an unadvertised thing of my Chief Architect Mastering course, it's a 15-part course. And it's also going to include 5 Zoom meetings where you can come log in and ask questions, and we'll just chat about some of the issues that you're having with Chief Architect. Well, actually, it's going to be another class because I took this class and I'm breaking it into 2 classes. So there's just too much content to cover in one. And I may end up doing that with a few other courses. So we really are going to dive deep into the program and really give you a massive overview of the program and how it works. And so I invite you to take a look at it. Head over to chiefexpertsacademy.com. Scroll down until you see the mastering course and you find out all about it. So it's been fun. We've got a lot of people signed up and we're having a ball in there so far. So look forward to seeing you there. Okay. Okay, enough of that. So Peter Brown, Mr. Peter Brown, and John, welcome you guys.
Thanks.
John, I see you're still got your lovely background there.
Yep, I brought this one back up again because Peter's like right over there somewhere.
Somewhere over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
About 50 miles away.
So he knows where you are.
Yeah.
All right. And then Peter Brown. So Peter, we've known each other for a number of years now. And tell me a little bit about, well, let's start with the question I like to ask a lot of people. What's your favorite hobby?
Probably kayaking.
Yep, I would have guessed that one. You do a lot of that, don't you?
I do.
You're a big biker too.
Yep, love the bike ride.
Yep. In fact, we've done that a little bit.
Yes, we have.
So let me just take a moment and introduce Peter. Peter, tell people how we met.
So back in 2006, I bought Chief in 2005 and I designed a house without any knowledge. Chief used to be fairly simplistic back then. I was able to get a set of plans drawn for the house, built the house. The market went all to hell in 2007. So in 2007, basically, when I couldn't sell my house, I'd sit in the living room of that big house and take Dan's webinars, and gave me time to have him train me in chief. And I will tell you right now that that is the best money you will ever spend to work with this guy, because I wouldn't be in my design career where I am without Dan Baumann. It's all about mastering chief.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I appreciate that. Here you are at our first event.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas back in 2014. I think that was the first time we met in person, I think.
Yes, it was.
I rented this house.
I felt like I was meeting a rock star. It was awesome.
Yeah, you learned right away that wasn't the case.
Of course not.
Although I will say today that everybody on the call today is going to meet you, and I'm going to call you the rock star today. You really are. I mean, you really blow me away with some of the things you do. So I'm going to share some of that with people. So real quickly, let's just take a peek at, you've been to about half dozen of my events now.
Yeah.
We always end up meeting at the Chief Architect user events, which is not going to happen live again this year, I'm afraid to say. I found out officially from the Chief Architect company this week, they're not having their annual user event. So this will be the second year in a row that they're not doing it live. They're doing it virtual again. So unfortunately, we're going to miss that. This is the second year when we were at the Spanish Mansion, and we had a really nice group. There you are again. Peter does a lot of stuff with video. So I think that's another one of your hobbies, isn't it? Or didn't you do that as a business?
I used to make horse training videos and things, and then construction videos, and then now, of course, it's a big part of my marketing for my business. Yeah,
and you do a great job. Here's that event again. You brought some friends over. You're filming some of my courses that I've done. Here we are filming Linda with sauerkraut and dumplings. That's great. I love that one. I sure appreciate you doing that for us. It helped me post a family recipe that I really cherish, and it's pretty cool how you did that. So thank you for doing that. And here you are, we're up north with John and Patty. So that was awesome. And obviously it was fall, so the colors were coming out really nicely. Here's Las Vegas event. There you are holding the paper cup.
Those events are so great in that the networking is priceless.
Isn't it cool? I mean, it really is priceless. The things that we do. I mean, here we are in a class, but after class, there you are doing some video work. After class is when we really get into it, right? Like this. This is where you discover a lot of stuff, because we're now talking, you're talking smack with each other. Yeah, well, how about this? Why didn't that work? That's really, you just learn so much there. And I really get a kick out of that. And, here you are with a couple more rock stars, Patty and Wyatt. So always covering something cool. But it's we've made some amazing friends at these events, and it's just really cool. I can't wait to get back out there and doing them some more. Here we are in Coeur d'Alene. Remember that? I think we ordered up a couple pizzas on that day, sitting on the main street in Coeur d'Alene. Here's the house in Coeur d'Alene in Vegas. Here's one of the Coeur d'Alene events that they put on. So if you ever get a chance to go to those listeners, if you ever get a chance to go to Chief Architect's user event, it's really cool. It's really worth it. So I highly recommend it. Remember our bike ride around the Twin Cities?
Yeah. I'll never see Minneapolis through the same eyes. It was amazing.
It really is cool. Here's the Twin Stadium. That's Kirby Puckett right there. Here's the U.S. Bank Stadium right behind us. Here's a museum at the University of Minnesota. Yeah, we logged a few miles that day. Here's Minnehaha Falls. Yeah, I didn't realize we were going to go that far. I think it was almost 50 miles.
50 miles up there, genius, boy.
Yeah, and I was still raring to go some more. And here we are in Coeur d'Alene. Remember, we went around the trail that I missed the sign that said no bikes. Anyway, that was cool. So that was really cool. And again, I appreciate as a friend and having you on the show today. So everybody listening here, we're going to get to some of Peter's plans in just a moment. So the next thing I want to do is play a little video for you. It's a 3-minute video, and I think you guys will really enjoy this. So here we go. I'm going to just add it to the stream. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think it doesn't come up yet. That's funny.
Oh, huh. Well, let me try it a different way. This is the first time I've used this feature in this. Why isn't it playing sound? All right, whatever. Let me do it a different way.
Structural engineers play a key role in my design business in that I rarely complete a design without their professional consultation. As a designer, I am in the communication business. It is critical to clearly communicate structural concepts to an engineer so they can analyze the systems I have designed into a project. Every project I do is unique. One of the best parts of my job is adding a structural system to a design and then having pragmatic collaboration with engineering professionals to perfect the structural integrity of the project. This is a home I have designed for a client in Three Forks, Montana. This two-story home features a main level living area and an upstairs rec room and guest bedrooms. Vaulted ceilings on either end of the living area and kitchen are open to the loft rec room and guest bedrooms above. The gable windows, vaulted ceilings, and these loft areas are the features that needed special engineering attention. Once I have finalized an overall plan, I organize the remaining work with an eye on streamlining engineering consultation. I put emphasis on a visual presentation that clearly spells out what I was thinking on the initial structural design. Visual organization is fundamental to my process. I use a color code to highlight the key structural components in my design. I want to avoid unnecessary confusion and make the structural system I have in mind obvious to the engineer or anyone else involved in the project. I am always flexible and open to professional input on changes or improvements. I have a long history working in areas of the country with very stringent building requirements. That experience gave me a respect for engineering standards and an admiration for experienced professional engineers. I want to do everything in my power to facilitate their work. Once an engineer stamps and signs off on the plan, the illustration and detail that I provide are a benefit to the contractor with the estimation process as well as construction management. I will also mention that in this era of do-it-yourself home improvement television, it is always good to give homeowners a reality check on the complexity their home actually contains. Knowledge is power, and educating people on the detailing that goes into a home is a win-win for all parties involved. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video blogs. For more information on my design business and methods of operation, visit peterqbrown.com. Or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Peter Q. Brown Designs.
I didn't know you were going to do that.
That is so cool. I was poking around on your website this morning, and I love the way you do your videos. So everybody that's watching now, what I want you to do after the show, not now, okay, is if you're viewing the page that I have this posted on, let me go, I got to add this back to the stream. So if you're on the page, the Designer Show page where you're viewing this stream, you'll notice below here I have a little thing for Peter, Meet Peter Brown. If you go to his website, it's peterqbrown.com, and you can go there, and I want you to go to his video blog, and you will love what Peter does. It's very educational. You do an amazing job showing how you use chief architect renovation, your style of building, your communication style. You are an amazing teacher, Peter. So, if I were there, I'd give you a big ass hug and a pat on the back. So, so you guys check it out. He's got a wonderful YouTube channel. You've got like 9,000 subscribers, dude, and 4.5 million views on your YouTube channel. I could only wish I had that many. Anyway, so well done, Peter.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, so just if all you guys get out of this today is that, just go watch his stuff. You'll learn a ton. So I think Peter does it better than anybody out there. All right. With that in mind, so Peter, tell me a little bit about how you got in this construction. What this business of construction?
I came out of college in the 80s with a degree in biology. I ended up working in the aquaculture industry. And in the aquaculture industry, you got to kind of be a jack of all trades. And so I started building some facilities. and really found that I love to build. And then when I moved back from Hawaii to California, I got into construction and worked my way. I was pretty high end area in Carmel, which was really fortunate that I got exposed to really high quality construction techniques and nice architecture. And so anyway, I worked my way up through the ranks there and ended up being a licensed general contractor for 25 years in California. And but I always did design while I was, so I did design as I was on the side, and I used to use isometric paper to illustrate things for my crews. And then when I discovered Chief Architect and what the capabilities three-dimensionally there, it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the rest is history, right? Yeah. All right, so very cool, very cool. Let's just go through a couple quick questions. We've got, can you still access last week's show? Okay, I guess I should have mentioned that. If you go to the website, Chief Experts Academy, and you hit the blog, I post all the shows in the blog. So you can always go back and review the shows anytime you want. So you can check them out there. And that Peter show will end up there next week. So by all means, come on by and check us out. Thanks for asking that. Ronald had to leave. Vicki, what level do you need to be in the mastering course? Any level. It's beginners through advanced. The way I teach, it doesn't matter. So you're going to learn no matter where you are in the chief process. Is that accurate, John? Would that work?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah. Jeffrey, how you doing?
All
Paul
right.
Choate. Paul, we did your plan review a month ago. Can you believe it's been a month already? Learned a lot from Dan. Thank you. All right. Good morning, Mr. Kevin. Hello. Yeah, I'm going to call you about that stupid line thing you're talking about. Edit. How you doing, Edit? And Peter blows me away speechless. Hard MF. Wonder what that means. Okay, so Peter, you have sent me a few plans that we're going to review. And so why did you decide to quit doing contracting? What caused that?
I got tired of people asking me, what's this going to cost? I was worth the damn at estimating. I just hated that aspect of it. Now when it's to be a contractor in this day and age and try to get help, it would be impossible. So I just knew that I wanted to do design, and it was scary to step away. Kevin Transu, you got to make the move, buddy. Anyway, so stepping away from construction and getting into design was the best move I could have done.
Kevin, we're going to have to get you some more little sticky notes that you can hang up that I am going to be just a designer. He'll never quit.
What do you mean, just a designer?
Yeah, I guess I said that wrong, didn't I? I'm going to be a designer. Anyway, this all starts with the design. So, anyway, Kevin, we don't mean to pick on you today. All right. So, Peter, you've sent me a couple of plans. We've got your porch plan, and we've got an addition plan. And those of you on the call, you can go to the website, and you'll notice below the all right, let me get back to that page. Oh, where'd it go? Here it is. Down here, I've got the plans right here, and you can click on those and you can get the PDF so you can follow along here a little bit. There's not a ton of critique here other than let's point out some of the things that I think you've done really well, and some of the things that, one of the things I noticed in the templates that you're still using some of my old templates. So we might talk about getting you into the newer templates and start getting used to plan views, because plan views are something that we are embracing now. All right, so you've done a nice job, and I love the way in your plans that you show the 3D, and I like the way you show the 3D in black and white like this. You're using the line drawing. We discussed yesterday a little bit about how you turn the patterns off so you could just see the lines and not the patterns of everything. Because on some of these small views like this, sometimes it's better to not have the materials turned on. So in Chief, again, I'm going to go back and forth here a little bit, and because part of my goal here is to let's look at your plan, but I also want to show people a few things about chief architect and how you do things. So when I'm in your plan, so let me go open it here. Let me go to the floor plan and double click on it and bring up a 3D view of your actual plan. And again, this is a really nice, I've seen some of your porches that you do and they're phenomenal. Again, if you go to Peter's website, Peter's, you go to a website, you'll see Peter's done some really, really cool videos about how he puts his porches together. You'll learn a lot about building these really nice porches. So you'd make a great shop teacher, Peter. In case you ever want to do something else in your career. So what Peter was asking is, how do I send this to the layout without any of the patterns on? So that you would, you click the color on off button right here, or F8 on your keyboard, and that'll turn the colors off, but we still have the patterns. Well, we have to switch to the vector view, first of all, because we've got our render view and then vector view. They're two different kinds. This is the mathematical view. And in here, for your, there is a setting up here under, which one is it again? I always get this mixed up. Toggle textures on and off. Now, you notice it's grayed out here in the vector view. That means it doesn't work in the vector view. That's for the render view. So if we want to do that here, we have to go to our layers. And if you just type in the materials, or is it 3D?
There's a toggle patterns tool too.
Is there? Okay, I was looking for that. Where did that go? I don't use that.
I don't know where they hide it. I think I put it on my toolbar. Just go to tools and find it. Go to tools and hotkeys or
The what? Go where?
Toolbars and hotkeys.
Who knows where the toggle is? All right, I'll show you another way you can do it too.
I don't think it's on the expanded toolbar.
Oh, it's a hotkey.
No, it's not a hotkey. It's a tool, but you got to put it on the bar, just like we do the layer hider and stuff.
All right. Well, another way you do it is just go to patterns 3D and turn them off.
Okay.
And that turns them off too. So that now they'll stay off. So John was saying, go to tools and toolbars and hotkeys. Customize hotkeys.
No, well, yeah, I could do that too, I guess.
Oh, what am I searching for?
I was just going to put the tool up on the toolbar. Patterns. Type in patterns.
Patterns.
Toggle patterns.
Patterns. Well, there's no hotkey.
No, there isn't.
Okay, so we'd have to create one.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
We'll
So
put
you
the
create
tool
a
on the
hotkey.
toolbar.
Yep, that'd be a way to do it. That's a good idea. All right, so that's one. That answered that question, Peter. I think we had talked about that yesterday
Yeah.
too. So close this. All right, so I like how you do that. So, but now that I've toggled the colors on and off, so now we can see the color in this view. But that'll still print and shade the gray when you do that. Are you linking all of these to the actual? So you're not linking this to the actual model. So
I actually just take a render view and then save it and then bring it in as a picture.
What if you change your view? What if you change the model?
Then I do that at the very end once the model's done.
All right. So a lot of people are more than likely sending the view to the, they'll be sending that view to the layout. Okay. Here I've got it because I have multiple layouts open. I have to choose which layout I'm sending it to. Which one is the porch one again? That one?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll just send it there.
Yeah,
There
that
it
would
is.
be it. You're correct.
Yep. So there it is. So now I've sent this view. It looks a little jaggedy. So what happens a lot of times when people send a view to the layout is whether it's a vector view or a render view, they're sending it. The first time you send it, it gets sent as a live view. Okay, what I've done here is I've clicked on the viewport for that 3D, and I've clicked the little open door icon, the open dialog, or if you have your hotkey set up, Control E or E. And I'm going to change that to plot lines so that it just prints nice clean lines. Now, Peter, you're using the illustration, I believe. Which view are you using for yours?
That would be technical illustration, I believe.
Yeah. And that's another nice way to do it. So when you're back at your view, so now I could double click on this view and open it. And So now if I've changed something in Chief, I just refresh that view and it'll refresh automatically. But you're using technical illustration. So that's, again, one of the many cameras that they have up here. So you're going to switch to technical illustration. And that adds a little bit of nice shading to it, and it just really looks nice. And I think that's really a nice look that you put on yours. And I noticed you're doing your elevations like that too.
I'd say elevations in technical illustration with shadows, I think, is such a rich look.
It really is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and then, let's get back to the technical illustration. So if we go into the technique options, you can adjust any of the views that are in that drop down by going to technique options. So now I'm in the area where I can, adjust, whether I want it to be a little whiter, I can adjust it cooler. I could change the color. I could change the line thickness that we see. So you could do a lot of different things with this. You could also make your glass opaque so you could see through it or not. So that looks really nice. So it does really give a nice, clean, rich look. And that's what I really like about your plan. I don't do that on mine. I might consider doing that, though, now that I've seen what you do. It's just clean. And the nice thing about this, again, and we've talked about this many times, and you've mentioned it yesterday, Peter, is that I'm a strong proponent of not doing photo quality renderings for your clients. Simply because if you do that and you haven't given a disclaimer in your contract or your agreement or on your plans, and they look at that photo quality and they come back later and something looks different, a different texture, different color, different things like that, they could, I've heard of a client that once did a kitchen. He's putting the cabinets in. The client comes out with a rendered view and says, the color in this view doesn't look like the cabinets. I want this color. And he had to replace the damn cabinets. It's like, whew, okay, not cool. So it cost him a few bucks because he tried to do pretty pictures. So be careful with it is all I'm saying. I will say that in the next version of Chief, pretty cool, if we can find the hardware for it. So they're doing some really nice things in the software to make some really nice renderings. Same thing though. If you're going to do the photo quality kind of renderings, make sure you have a written, keyword written, agreement with your client that render views are simply, see, I think we have that message right up here. 3D views are not to scale, may not reflect exactly what's available. And they're just representations of what the view could look like, not what it will look like. 2D views always supersede 3D views. So that's a real important message that I put on all my plans, because I like to put a lot of 3D on my plans, just like Peter does here. So Peter, let me ask you, do you have any questions about your plan? What kind of things do come to mind for you? And John,
Well,
chime in too.
Always learning something new from you. This is, I am using plan views now, by the way. This plan's a couple years old, but
Okay.
that concept of having a live view without textures, that's incredible. I'll be using that. I'll probably after this meeting, I'm going to change a couple of things in a plan going right now for that. So
Cool. All right. Another thing that I look at is the text that people use in their plans. The goal with any text, the goal with any plan, and one of the things that makes a plan really nice is having consistent text size that's readable. All right. And what I mean by that is I've seen a lot of plans where people want to print on 11 by 17. So they take their plan and they draw it up and they're using the 4.5 or 6 inch tall text in Chief. And then they send that to a 11 by 17 page and make it an 1/8 inch scale. And I need a magnifying glass to read that. Unless it's a PDF, of course, then I can zoom into it. That's not so bad. But if it's printed, it's hard to read. So the optimal size text you want to be using on your plans is either 3/32 of an inch or 1/8 inch for your plain text. So you've got, I like the 3/32. It's a little bit smaller than the 1/8 inch. To achieve an 1/8 inch tall text in your plans, and this is how Chief sends out all of their templates, with 6 inch tall text in your plans. All right. I personally don't like the 6 inch tall text in my plans. I like the 4.5 inch tall, which nets me a 3/32 inch tall text on my written plans, my printed plans.
Per quarter inch.
For a quarter inch view. Thank you. Yes. So keep that in mind. So if you're doing that, if you're doing your text, if you're reducing the size of your plans on a plan because you want it to fit the page, just be aware of that. Be careful with that, because that can really mess up what people see, especially carpenters out in the field. They can't read the damn thing. Although these days you can just take your phone and zoom in on the text too. That works, especially if it's in a PDF format yet. So keep that in mind. I was just going to say something else, but I totally just forgot what I was going to say now. So I have to come back to it. It had to do with text. Oh, I know what it was. On your floor plans, this is only true for floor plans when you have dimensions. If you do change your floor plan to a different scale, and I'm looking for one with a bunch of dimensions on it right here. And again, this only works for floor plans. So you take your plan and it doesn't fit on a page, you make it an 1/8 inch scale or 3/16 or whatever. But that won't change the text automatically. In its simplest sense, so at least you want the dimensions to be readable. So that's pretty easy, because with any viewport, on any floor plan viewport, and I think this works for CAD details too, I'd have to double check it. You can open the dialog, and in this right here at the top of the page, there's a thing called number height. Okay, so you can change the number height of the dimensions in this viewport just by changing it here. It doesn't change it back in your plan. It only changes it in this viewport. So if I change, I'll just type in 12 so you can see the change, and you'll see that all my numbers get really big now. So if you print it at a smaller scale and it's hard to read the numbers, at least you can do that with one click. You don't have to do anything else. So you've got that covered. And then
so what happens when you go back to the plan with that? Does it stay?
Plan is not changed. No, the plan will be the same. It doesn't affect the plan at all.
Okay.
It only affects that viewport. Okay. So yeah, so I like that feature because sometimes I do want to make my scale smaller, and maybe I don't have a lot of text that I'm concerned about. So I would have to, so at least I can get my dimensions to show up nicely. So that's a real simple technique for you to do. So when you change those sizes. Okay, so you've done a nice job with putting some notes on the plan. You've got your scale here underneath each view. Again, I'm because you've got different size scales on the same page, you're calling them out nicely. So what I usually do down here in this, on my template where I have this, I would put in per view. I would put the word per view in there. So I would just go up to the, I would just click on the, see, it's this page right here, edit page information, and I would just put under comments per view if you're using the macro, and you were. So that way, if people are used to looking for the scale down here, they'll know, oh, okay, I got to look at each view. So it's one of those duh things, but it doesn't hurt to clarify.
One thing I want to mention real quickly, as long as you brought up notes, one of the things that I do, I have strong relationships with my engineers, and I come flat out and tell them, guys, I am not I'm not a trained architect, and I've pretty much learned to draw plans over the years from kind of reading and whatnot. And I'll always tell them, if you see something on my plan that needs to be represented better, please tell me. And if you think that maybe there's a note that needs to be added to this, please tell me. And a lot of times that kind of input influences the notes I put on my plan. I also have a ex-building inspector, plans examiner that is retired now, who now I give him my set of plans just before I submit and have him go over, make sure I've got all my code stuff squared away, any notes, same thing. And I just really feel like those two, engineers' input and having a consultant that's a retired plan checker is invaluable to me in terms of trying to miss things.
Great advice, Peter. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's really a great comment. So anybody out there, if you're working, even your carpenters, hey guys, you're working in the field. What's missing from the plan? What could I do better on the plans to help you?
Especially them.
Yeah, especially them, because they're the guys that got to read the damn thing and build it. Half the time there's the stupid designers. They sit around on their ass all day and they don't put all the shit on the plan that we need. I've been in that position and I've said that. So
or they put too much.
Yeah.
or
yeah.
worthless information.
Yeah, yeah. You got your page of text that is boilerplate
Right.
for every. People put it on every stupid plan. Half the time they don't change it for that particular project. It's like, well, why bother doing that? So what if it looks cool? But that's a great comment. So I like that a lot. So yeah, ask your people what they want on their plan. Great idea. So here again, here's a note that you've actually put on. Oh, you actually have that in a CAD detail window.
We're not seeing the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So let me go back to that. So I was looking at this note down here in the bottom, and I noticed like right here, this is a note on the page itself, on the layout page at an 1/8 inch size. And then this note here you have in, is part of your template, I assume, general notes. Is that something?
No, I'm not as good at templates as you might think. Believe me, I need a lot of work on that. That's
All
probably
right. So either way that you do it is fine. So here you've got a 4.5 inch tall text at a 1/4 inch scale, which is, if we go back and look at this viewport, it's going to be it's going to be 3/32 of an inch tall. So the text in this box right here is going to be just a tad smaller than that. And you can see it right when I put them next to each other. I mean, 1/8 inch is a little bit easier to read, but of all the research I've done, architects overwhelmingly agree that 3/32 of an inch is fine. So, but whatever you're comfortable with, use that. And this is all caps too, so it's going to read a little bit better because it's a bigger font. So just keep that in mind. So 1/8 inch or 3/32 are acceptable on all plans. And of course, when you get into titles, the only thing you ever put on a layout are titles and borders and things like that. You can do some notes. Here you've got a 1/4 inch for a title. So that looks really nice and it shows up well. All right, so we get into your details now. And again, you never draw these kinds of things on your layout because the layout is only a 18 by 24 or whatever size sheet you've got. I think this one, you've got it at 24 by 36. So, you can fit more stuff on it. But so Peter, you've drawn these in a CAD detail window. So if I double click on that, it's going to open up the plan and it's going to open up the CAD detail window, which is this icon right here. That's where you store the CAD details within your plan. You could store drawings, text, pictures, schedules. Schedules, if you put them in your CAD detail windows, will update automatically within your plan. So you don't have to mess up your floor plan with all sorts of stuff all over it, unless you want to. I mean, that's okay too, because we can just shift our viewport to show things whatever we want. So this looks really nice. I mean, you obviously put a ton of thought into your drawings, into how you're going to do these things. I know you use a lot of metal in your jobs. For your, like when you do the post and beam stuff, you use a lot of metal. So I assume you have someone that fabricates all that for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to give them exactly what they need to fabricate so they can fabricate it correctly.
Sure.
All right. So this, again, we're looking at this and the text is 2¼ inches tall. So that's going to be good for a 1/2 inch scale to read at 3/32 of an inch tall. Now, if you were going to print this at a bigger scale, but you still wanted 3/32 of an inch text, I do have up here in my template, I do have architectural plan 3/4 inch. So if I select that, of course, the things are going to be show differently here, but that'll put smaller text in. And if you're going to do a 1 inch scale, so if I use the 3/4 inch drawing size, we're going to be using text that's 1.5 inches tall. If you're going to go to like a 1 inch equals a foot scale, you're good with 1 inch tall text. So just keep that in mind when you change that. So if you're ever going to draw a CAD detail in Chief, switch to whatever scale you're going to print it at, and that'll put the right size text in. I think I'm going to add a 1 inch scale here too, because actually I've been doing a few more plans with 1 inch scale drawings. Because when you do these little bitty details of joists and connections, things like that, you want to have them display a little bigger on your plan. So that's just something to keep in mind. But again, what you've done here looks great. I don't think anybody's going to have any trouble reading that detail, knowing
Since you're,
exactly what to do.
since you're talking about text, Dan, I just want to point out that in the text box, you can type in what size you want the text to be in the scale and it'll tell you what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see, where was that again?
It might be under the rich
text
text.
style. Was it text style? It's right here. I don't think that works on. You got to be in your plan view. I don't think that works in the.
Could be
on the layout. So if you're going to go put some text in, and you go to text style,
maybe you have to put
you got to use custom text.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you're going to do 1.5 inch tall text, so if the print scale is 1/4 inch per foot, the text that I have set up here will print at 1/32 of an inch tall. So because the text size is only 1.5 inches.
So if you type in the size of print, the size you want it to print in that, it'll tell you how big it needs to be on your plan.
So 1 inch, if I want desired print size to be 3/32 of an inch, that's going to be 1 1/8 inch tall text. All right. And again, it's either 1 inch or 1/8 is your goal. That's what you're really looking for. And you'll be comfortable with both those sizes. Again, I prefer the 3/32 inch size.
But that's when I found that to be a handy little tool, so I don't have to think about it. Just tell it what I want.
I mean, I still remember coming back from, where was it, Kansas? And we were
I
talking.
think it was either Kansas or Denver, one of the two.
No, it was Kansas. We were coming back, and I've been working on my template for quite a long time then, and trying to figure out what the hell is the big deal about these templates things. And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's the frickin' text.
Yeah.
It's the text size. That's the big thing about any template that you'll ever use, and why it's so important. So, and in fact, if you have my template and someone asks you if they can get the template, yeah, you can get that on my website. Just go to the store and you can purchase it. The template does come with the mastering course. It comes with the Pro Academy, and it comes with the Creating a Plan in Chief course as well. So that's included with those courses, but you can also buy it independently too. So if I go, and there's actually a bunch of training that goes with the template, so you're not just left hanging. I'm actually teaching you how to use it. So if I go to a new layout here, and here's what I'm talking about, the text size. So again, we want 4.5 inch tall text at 3/32 of an inch, 6 inch tall at to get 1/8 inch tall printout. Okay, that's really that's why it's so important. Okay, let's switch to another page. We got 15 minutes. You got a nice plan here, your plot plan. You've got some custom lines. Did you create that line style, Peter, or does that come with the program?
I don't remember. I'm just learning actually how to create line styles actually. So.
Okay. Yeah. So if you ever need to create your own line style, because you put, what does that stand for, your plot
Property line.
Property line.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Duh. So if we go to a CAD and we go to lines and we go to line style management, this is where you can create your own line styles. Okay. So if I go to, so see how they have, water, sewer, and of course you want to create different sizes for different scales that you're going to print at, because the text would be different sizes. So you can customize your own lines and save those, and what you end up doing is saving them in your library when you're done with them. So you could create a line style and then add it to a library. So if you use the same line styles on every project almost, or a lot, you just click and add that to the library, and it's adding it as a molding. I just want a line. Let me grab one of those lines by clicking on the line. And there's a little icon down here that will detach that line from the shape when I click on it. So we want to click on that icon. So now I could just take and copy that as a standalone line. Oh, didn't like it. Why not? I guess I had the wrong line.
I usually do it through the
There we go.
tool palette on the.
I had gotten the CAD line instead of
okay.
that line. So, but here's the line. Now, if I add that to the library, can I add that to the library here? I thought I could.
Think you have. I usually do it through the tool palette for the line.
So we got to go CAD lines. line style management. Oh, there it is. Add to library. That's what it is. Okay. A little button here, add to library.
So you create it and then add it to the library right from there.
So you could take any of the lines on the list here and create your own library full of line styles that anytime you want them, just go grab them from the library and you got it. You don't have to go searching for the lines. So that's a nice little tip. Again, nice layout. I like how you did is this just a standalone drawing? So it's not actually, this is not actually done on top of the house. In fact, we're in a CAD detail window. No, we're on the first floor. So what do we got?
So that existing house is just a symbol, and this is for the plan is for a guest house. So
got it. Okay.
The existing house is just turned into a symbol.
So that is nothing more than just a 2D CAD drawing that you did for that. All right. So you got a nice page index. So that looks good. So again, page index are really easy to add. That's a little drop down or a little item right here that you can add a page index. It's just like a schedule where you can add it to your sheet on any page that you want. You can open its dialog and tell what you want to be on that schedule. And the way it works is when we add things to a page, so you're using the page title, which is right here. So if we go look at the page title, see what page am I on that page? Footings and foundation, where are you putting that? Page title thing.
Again, I was just learning.
Oh, okay. When you're doing this. All right.
So I wouldn't go there.
So the page title is a macro that we want to use. So to add a page title to your pages, go to page 0 and go to, are you using the template now with the page titles, Peter?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So what we can do here is we can go here and we can put a macro in. So I could go to layout info, and what I want to use is layout page title. All right. So anywhere I put that macro, I can put it on the page. I can put it anywhere I want. And when I type this in, whatever I type in here by going to edit page information, so whatever's in this box right here will show up there. Okay. I guess I got to get to another page before that'll work. So now when I go to my different pages, and let's put it somewhere where it's not covered up. All right, so there we go. So, all right, what am I doing wrong here? Page, because you probably haven't added. What am I doing wrong?
Gotta go name the page. Did you do that?
Thought I did. Edit page information, title, there it is.
Did you make that a macro when you put it in there?
I thought I did. Let me go look at it again.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Come on. All right, so layout title.
Layout font title. Okay.
Font 8th. Should be showing up on the page now. Default page. So if I go to the next page, it should show the page title in there. Why is it not? Let me go to another page. No. Hello.
Oh, sorry. I had to use my bad. Sorry. Been drinking coffee all day.
No problem. All right, we're having trouble showing the page title. Let's not worry about that right now. Well, if I go open up a new layout and I go to a page that I want to put a title on. So if I want to put a title here and I go look at, oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong layout. Remember, John, we've had for 22 years the ability to have one layout at a time open.
Yep.
Now we can have as many as we want. So, all right.
With me all the time.
Yeah. So if I would have gone back to that plan view or the layout pages, I'd define that. So if I go here to my Untitled, so here's the page title. So if I go edit the page info, here's the page title. And that'll show up on every page, and it'll also show up on the schedule. So it looks like you're using that fine now, and you're good to go. So we don't need to get into that. All right, so let's keep moving here. You're using schedules, it looks like. Are you liking the schedules, Peter?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay,
they're fine.
Any questions about them? How they work? Things that you can do?
I use them just enough to. I don't spec specific windows very often because the contractor and the client typically change those windows and doors. And so I just kind of go generic and I make a note saying, hey, do not go by this schedule for final ordering. You have to verify that with the owner. I'm real careful about that.
Right there.
there. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. So
Yeah, so you don't have the rough openings in there on that schedule, so that's
Absolutely not. I don't want to. I don't want to be responsible for some contractor's rough opening and have them come back and say, "Well, it said." No way.
no, I've done plans for contractors that wanted me to put the rough opening on the floor plan. So what I always would do is do not try to make the window the right size with the right, so it produces the label automatically. Just type it in with an arrow pointing to the window.
Yeah, sure.
So that way you don't have to worry about if you move the window or change the size of it a little bit, it's going to mess up. Okay, so we've got, you like to do white walls with no color in them?
Sometimes I think maybe on this, not typically. I usually use gray now. I still kind of follow your lead on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, one of the things when you turn color off on plans, it may print that way.
Right.
Depends on how they specify the printing. So here's a little trick for you. So go to the hatching. So it's under the wall, build wall hatching. So I've added that icon to my toolbar, and I can now go hatch the walls. And I could, if I want to show my plan in darker colors, I can do that. So I want to change the hatching now. So I just click the icon for hatching, and I hold my shift key down, and I can marquee select all the hatching. And now I can open that and change the hatch style. What just happened here? Hang on. That's right. So I can go in here, and if I want to, I could make that solid under fill style. Maybe make it solid, maybe make it, dark gray or black or whatever color. You got to be careful with shades of gray because sometimes they won't print black or they won't print at all. So, and then you can set a transparency if you want to, but so there's your hatching now. So and then you can adjust your hatching to reflect what's new and what's existing. And at any time, you just turn that layer off. So you just go in here and type hatch. You could actually put the hatching on different layers, I think. And so now I can turn that color on and off. Oh, I just made the walls. And the walls. There's a little trick for you if you want to show the hatching in dark on your layout.
you should probably show how you get a hold of that hatching again since you did it wrong.
Yeah. So there's two ways to get a hold of it. One, you select the hatch icon and then click on it to grab it, or highlight the wall and hit the next button or your tab key. Right. And that'll get to the hatching then too. So
Show me that works, because I didn't think that worked.
It's always worked for me. There we go.
There it is. Okay.
So yeah, it does work fine. So you can highlight that or highlight the wall, hit the tab key, and you'll get the hatching. So it does work. And then you can move it, delete it, do whatever you want with it, put it on a different layer. There's been some significant improvement in that tool coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, keep moving on here. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Have we got any questions coming through, John, that I could ask?
Somebody just pointed out that I'm your Ed McMahon.
That what?
Must be an old person. John is Dad's Ed McMahon. He must be an old person.
Yeah.
There was some stuff up at the beginning, kind of. Matthew says that Costco's selling MSI laptops RTX 3070 built in for $1,800.
That's a good price.
Is that what we have as the 1370?
We have the 2070s in ours.
2070. Okay.
God, we got a deal on ours, John, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
I should have bought a dozen of those damn things. God, that's the iCore 9 with a speeded up. It's an Alienware with each of them has two 1 terabyte solid state drives. We've got 64 gig of RAM. Did I put in those? I think.
So, yeah.
And we've got the RTX 2070. It's a 17-inch unit. It's just a kick-ass computer. We got them for $2,000 each. I mean, it was like
That was
a
2 years ago?
It's not even a year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago?
I guess it might be almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
They work great, by the way, for doing the rendering. I mean, they're slower. I can't wait to get the 3080. So that's coming. There he is. John is Dan's Ed McMahon. So are you supposed to make some weird laughs and make some weird comments, John?
I'd have to go back and watch some Johnny Carson. I don't know.
All right. Keep moving forward. Peter, how are we doing? Any questions so far?
The one thing I will mention is that if you go to some of those 3D views on that layout, that I'm real big on, and go to like page 6, some of the framing views. Like when I do for instance, go back a page, maybe 5.
Oh, one.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you'll notice that, maybe go back one more to page 4.
Okay.
I believe I got floor framing. All right. So one of the things that I think is very important as a chief user is to be able to really use the framing well. I do a lot of customized framing for a couple of reasons. Number one, just because I love it, because I used to be a builder, but also I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from guys on the job that they appreciate not everybody, but they appreciate the 3D views, so they can kind of quickly, suss out what it actually looks in 3D versus 2. And I think it also makes the page a little sexier with a 3D view.
Oh, I agree. I do 3D framing on all my plans. So how long did it take you to frame that?
Not very long. I've gotten I mess with framing so much now that I've gotten pretty quick at playing with it. So
Isn't it cool now in Chief how we can frame each wall independently? We can frame each room independently.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just have so much fun with that. And
I do
I
too.
can't tell you that I charge everybody. I don't charge people. I don't figure that in my hourly rate. When I do a 3-dimensional view of a framing or something, that's actually for my own edification. They just are the beneficiary of that, and I don't charge people for that.
So this drawing is this framing.
Absolutely.
So that's the key to that. And so I know people are going to ask, what is your hourly rate? So I think you told me you're at $5.50, something like that an hour.
I'm 95 an hour. I feel fine with that.
Okay. Again, I'd say.
And I rarely charge. Well, never mind. Let's not get into that. I rarely charge people for the time that I actually spend. I put a lot more into a plan than I
know you do. Yeah. You're just like you're just like a Minnesota guy. You always do more than you're supposed to do. I guess we must go hand in hand. So in 95, if you're comfortable with it, then that's a good price. I would say you could charge more.
I know I could.
You do, yeah. Or if you just charged for all of your time, you'd probably be good too. Do you use the time tracker in Chief?
I actually do, but I need to get better at it, and that's something that wouldn't be a bad idea if you did a quick show about that. That's a huge. So when I got to go back and figure out what I was working on when, it's nice to look at that.
So I'll show you real quick how I do it. So I would take this list and I would export it to a spreadsheet. So I'm going to create a text file out of it. All right, let me go put it somewhere where I can find it. Actually, I'll put it right in your folder. Let's see, where am I here? This and feed around. So I'll name it time or whatever. Peter's time. How about that? All right. So you can't do much with the time in Chief Architect, but when I export it and I bring it into a spreadsheet, I can. So now when I go to my spreadsheet, I could go open up this and I could go open that up and I'll just go browse for that again. And it's right here, under here, under here. Yeah, good thing I can find things. Okay, I don't see the file now because I have to change the extension here to a text. So there's my time, there's my sheet. And it's going to be a tab. It's going to be a comma delimited file. So you got to go delimited next and go comma. Okay. And then hit finish. And it'll come up like this. So here's each day, what happens with Chief is when you stop working on your plan for for 5 minutes, it turns off the timer. And we start working on it, it turns on again. To look at the stuff here is really, you don't learn much, but here's the key. Here's what we're looking for, are those times. So what I always do is I kind of go in through, I'll just kind of go into each day and I'll just, like I'm going to include that with this day. So I would just go here. Now I just create a couple spaces between each day. Because I like to log my time by the day. If you've been working on a plan for many times, maybe you don't want to do it that much. Just pick the dates you want. And then all I do is I just put over here, I put equal, SUM, parenthesis, and go up here, and I'm hitting my arrow key up. And there's the time I put on that day. I go equal, SUM, parenthesis, arrow key over, shift key held down, arrow key up, enter. So there's the times I'm putting in each day. So then I can just go, add that all up. I go equal SUM. I'm just used to this. I'm sure there's a shorter way to do it, and then bam, there's my, I always, that doesn't work for some reason. I'll just do my totals done. The reason I put it off the side like this, because if I want to do some totals for a group of time, I will do that in a different column. And then so there's, oh, come on, it's supposed to work. Maybe I can't do it within the same row. So I'll go equal SUM. That's what it was. I can't do it within the same row. There it is. So there's the total for those. All right. So it does work. And it's a great way to just get a really good idea of what you're doing. So that's how I do it.
If you're good at Excel, you can build yourself a spreadsheet with formulas and just plug it in there. And
yeah,
I'm actually going to take an Excel class
that'll be
sometime in the next 6 months.
There you go. There will be a good lesson for you to figure that out.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, unfortunately, we're about out of time here. So, how are we doing on questions, Sean? Anybody got any questions?
There was some questions back at the beginning again about let me find it. CAD details exist as a cross-plan library. It's when you were talking about the detail CAD details.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Where's that question?
1238. Down from there. Down 2 more. Right there.
Does CAD details exist as a cross-plan library? Yes, Chief does have some libraries of CAD details that you can get from their website. It's under the, see if I just type the word CAD up here, I think I can find some. CAD blocks and CAD details. So if you go to their website and just search for CAD or CAD blocks, you will find some. Yeah, actually, yeah, they're part of the bonus catalogs. So they got a bunch of stuff here. You can save your own anytime you want to.
Yeah. And you can even take these details and plug them into your cross sections if you want to.
Yeah.
Your own full cross section.
So what Peter's doing with a lot of his sections, so if we get in here and we take a look at like these sections right here. So now I was looking at this earlier. So this is a part of your 3D model because, Peter, you do a great job putting the CAD, the framing in the way it needs to go. You've even created the 3D metal pieces. And so you just, you're really doing it up. Is this 3D too, or is that just a CAD detail?
I think that might be a symbol, actually.
Okay. So here I can open it up. Yeah. You've created a bolt that you stick in there. So cool. You're the symbol man. So that's part of the 3D model. You've modeled your house correctly. You draw a cross section through it, and now you label it, and that's your section. So that's kind of the goal of what we're doing when we're modeling something is to get that kind of detail. Now, the other thing I noticed that you do is you create, let me get to the right plan here. You've created some, which one was it? This one? There we go. So you've done some of these where you've made a CAD detail out of that. All right, so you've brought up the 3D view, and then you click the view to CAD button. And when you click that, it puts it in here under a CAD detail. And then you go and add some dimensions and text and things like that. Or it looks like here you're just doing some measuring off of it. So that's another nice way to do that too. So let's see what else you got in here. Thin plan specs. So there's one of your details that you've drawn in here. So the nice thing about drawing your CAD details in a CAD detail window is you can change the text. You can change the scale that you're going to print it at up here, and then just start drawing, and then it's all going to be the right size. Okay, you don't have to worry so much about layers and things like that. It's just a great way to do that and put that there. All right.
Kevin says his favorite thing to do is reading plans off of a phone.
Yeah, I know he likes doing that. He does that all the time.
I like Vicky's. Her most valued referrals come from framers who've used or worked on her plans.
Oh, nice. Nice. So he's doing most of his details in AutoCAD, dropped into Chief and scaled PDFs. You could just drop the DWG into Chief too, and then it'd be full size. So that might be a little easier. Then you don't have to mess around scaling them.
And it wouldn't take up space either.
Yeah. PDFs can tend to bog down your system. All right, so I use Excel to write my electrical panels. REScheck info. Chief does have a REScheck export. So when you go REScheck, you can export a REScheck file.
You take the comment off of there so we can see where you're at.
You go File, Export. I just did this with a client, and it's right down here, Export REScheck. And you can go to REScheck.com, or you can download the app, or you can go to their website and do it online. You'll import the chief architect file that gets exported, and a lot of the information's there. It works pretty well, actually. I was really kind of surprised. I don't know squat about REScheck and what it does and what I'm supposed to do, but I brought the file in and we managed to figure it out, and it worked.
Yeah, there's information you have to put in for your windows and walls and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Great info, Dan. Okay, boo-boo. I love that. All right, I think we're done. Peter, anything you want to add?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's always wonderful to talk to you. Nice job on your plans. You guys take a look at Peter's plans. You can learn a lot. I like how you use your vision clouds. Now here again, is that a vector view or a, yeah, that's plot lines. So you're using, I've seen a lot of people, they'll do live views for those kind of shots, and they don't print very well. You got to use plot lines. We want that to be in CAD. We don't want it to be graphic.
Can I have Peter comment on one more thing?
Yeah.
Peter, one time we were talking about your videos, and you mentioned how it's been helpful to send that to the permit people and have them watch that. They can go through your process. And
So I use, when I go through the planning department and we have a conceptual design, not yet, with maybe not a building set going with it, but I got to sell it to the planning department. I find it super helpful. I use Camtasia, and I'll put together a little video about the project and include that in my digital documents. And that's really been a big hit with, it really helps.
Helps you get it through easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all we're after here, is to communicate our ideas and what we're expecting via drawing. And you explain it second to none. So you do, it's just a wonderful job. So again, you guys check out Peter's website, check out his blog channel, subscribe to his channel. So you get notified when he puts new videos on. You'll be good to go. Thanks, Peter.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, this was fun. And maybe we'll have to do this again sometime.
Kevin Transu, turn into a designer, not just a building.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Oh, Peter logged off.